Your next AI agent may touch your cloud before anyone knows what it is allowed to do. That is the uncomfortable part of today's story. A report from the AI economy says Service now wants to govern every AI agent running on AWS. Strip away the vendor names, and the bigger idea is simple. Companies are about to have thousands of little digital workers asking for access to tickets, databases, customer files, and production systems. If each one gets treated like a normal app, the security model breaks. If each one gets treated like a person, the operations model breaks. So here is the mechanism to remember: the agent customs gate. Think of a busy international airport, but instead of travelers, the arrivals line is full of AI agents. One wants to reset a server. One wants to read a sales contract. One wants to approve a workflow. One wants to move money or at least prepare the paperwork that moves money. The question is no longer, is this model smart? The question is, who issued this agent a passport? What lane is it allowed to use, and who sees the record when it crosses the border? That is why ServiceNow and AWS are such a useful signal. ServiceNow already lives inside company workflows: IT tickets, approvals, incidents, procurement, HR requests, and audit trails. AWS is where a huge amount of infrastructure actually runs. Put those together, and the pitch becomes a control layer for agentic work. Not just launching agents, but registering them, limiting them, watching them, and proving later what happened. The agent customs gate has three parts. First, identity. Every agent needs a clear badge, not some automation called by some script, but a named actor with an owner, a purpose, and an expiration date. If an agent opens a ticket, queries a database, or changes a setting, the company should know exactly which agent did it and which human team is responsible for it. Second, permission scope. A human employee does not get every key in the building on day one. Agents should not either. The useful version of autonomy is not unlimited access. It is narrow access that expands only when the task demands it and only through an approval path. That is the difference between an assistant that helps and an assistant that becomes a silent insider risk. Third, audit trail. This is the boring part that becomes priceless during a crisis. When something breaks, leaders do not want a poetic explanation from a chatbot. They want the receipts. What instruction arrived? What tool was called? What data was touched? What decision was made? And who approved the next step? Without that trail, every AI incident becomes a fog machine. Here's why this matters beyond ServiceNow. The next phase of enterprise AI is not one chatbot in a browser. It is agents embedded inside the systems that run the business. Finance agents will reconcile exceptions. Security agents will triage alerts. Developer agents will touch code pipelines. Support agents will change customer records. The productivity upside is real, but so is the blast radius. The companies that win will not be the ones that simply say yes to every agent. They will be the ones that make agents legible. They will know which agents exist, what each one can do, where it can act, and how to shut it down fast. So the practical takeaway is this: before adding another AI agent, ask three customs questions. What is its passport? What is its lane? What is its receipt? If your team cannot answer those in 1 minute, you do not have an agent strategy yet. You have a cloud full of unofficial interns. The deeper shift is cultural. We are moving from software that waits for clicks to software that takes initiative. That means governance cannot be a quarterly spreadsheet anymore. It has to be built into the path of action, at the gate, before the agent reaches the sensitive system. ServiceNow's AWS push is one vendor story, but the lesson is bigger. Autonomy needs borders. Not to slow the future down, but to make it safe enough to use at full speed. Build the gate, name the agents, keep the receipts, and you become the kind of operator who can trust automation without surrendering control.